The alarm bells rang through Outpost Zeta 7 like angry metal birds. Commander Jake Morrison jumped from his chair so fast that his coffee cup fell to the floor. The hot liquid spread across the metal deck, but Jake did not care. His eyes were fixed on the big screen in front of him. "What is that thing?" Jake asked, pointing at the strange dot on the screen. Lieutenant Lisa Grant was already typing on her control panel. Her fingers moved fast across the keys. Numbers and letters filled her small screen. She looked worried. "Sir, I don't know," Lisa said. "The computer says it's a ship, but it's not in our files. We have files on every ship in the galaxy. Every single one. But this one is not there." Jake walked closer to the big screen. The dot was moving. It was moving fast, very fast. Too fast for any normal ship. "Ben, get over here," Jake called to technician Ben Cole. Ben was fixing a broken scanner near the back wall. He dropped his tools and ran to Jake's side. "Look at this speed reading," Jake said. "Tell me I'm reading it wrong." Ben looked at the numbers on the screen. His face went white. "Sir, that can't be right. No ship can move that fast. The fastest ships in the Imperial Navy can't go half that speed." Lisa kept typing on her control panel. More numbers appeared on her screen. She looked even more worried now. "Sir, there's something else," she said. "The ship's size readings are strange too. My sensors say it's big. Really big, but it's moving like a small fighter ship." Jake rubbed his forehead. He had been running Outpost Zeta 7 for 5 years. In all that time, he had never seen anything like this. The outpost was on the edge of Empire space. It was their job to watch for enemy ships or strange things, but this was beyond strange. "Try to contact them," Jake said. "Use all the standard greetings. Maybe they're friendly." Lisa pressed some buttons on her panel. A soft beeping sound filled the room. She waited. Nothing happened. She tried again. Still nothing. "No answer, sir," she said. "They're not responding to any of our calls." Ben was looking at another screen. This one showed the ship's path through space. The line on the screen was straight and steady. The ship was heading right for the inner systems of the Empire. "Commander, look at this," Ben said. "If they keep going in that direction, they'll reach the Alpha Colony in 6 hours. That's where 2 million people live." Jake felt his stomach drop. Alpha Colony was a peaceful place. Families lived there. Children played in the parks. If this strange ship was dangerous, those people would be in trouble. "Send a message to Imperial Command," Jake said. "Tell them we have an unknown contact. Tell them it's big and fast and heading for Alpha Colony." Lisa's fingers flew across her control panel again. She sent the message through the fastest communication channel. The message would reach Imperial Command in 30 minutes. "Message sent, sir," she said. Jake looked at the big screen again. The dot was still there, still moving. Still too fast for any normal ship. What kind of people build ships like that? He asked, but he was talking to himself. Ben heard him anyway. "Maybe they're not people at all, sir. Maybe they're machines. Or aliens we've never seen before." Jake did not like that idea. The Empire had contact with thousands of alien species. They had files on all of them. They knew what ships each species could build. But this ship was not in any of those files. "Keep scanning," Jake said. "I want to know everything about that ship. What it's made of, how many people are on it, what kind of weapons it has." Lisa and Ben worked at their control panels. They used every scanner the outpost had. But the strange ship seemed to block their scans. They could see it was there, but they could not see inside it. Double quote, "Sir, this is weird," Lisa said. "Our best scanners can't get through their hull. It's like they have some kind of shield we've never seen before." Jake walked to the communication station. He pressed a button and spoke into the microphone. "Unknown vessel, this is Commander Jake Morrison of Imperial Outpost Zeta 7. You are entering Empire space. Please identify yourself and state your intentions." He waited. The room was quiet except for the soft humming of the computers. 10 seconds passed, then 20, then 30. "Unknown vessel, please respond," Jake said again. "We are here to help if you need assistance." Still nothing. Ben looked up from his screen. Sir, I'm getting some strange readings from their engines. The energy output is incredible. It's like they're using power sources we don't have. Jake felt a chill run down his back. Ships with unknown technology were always dangerous. The Empire had learned this lesson many times in the past. How long? Until they reach Alpha Colony? He asked. Ben checked his calculations. 5 hours and 43 minutes, sir. That was not much time. Jake had to make a decision. He could send ships to intercept the unknown vessel, but that might make them angry. Or he could wait and hope they were peaceful. But if they were not peaceful, millions of people could die. Send another message to Imperial Command, Jake said. Tell them we recommend sending ships to intercept. Tell them we have a Code Yellow situation. Code Yellow meant possible threat. Code Red meant active attack. Jake hoped they would never need to use Code Red. Lisa sent the second message. Then she looked at her screen again. Her eyes went wide. Sir, you need to see this, she said. The ship just changed direction. It's moving toward the beta system now. Jake looked at the big screen. The dot had indeed changed direction, but it had done so without slowing down. No normal ship could change direction that fast without crushing everyone inside. How many people live in the beta system? Jake asked. 50 million, sir? Ben said quietly. Jake felt his heart beat faster. This was getting worse. The unknown ship was heading for an even bigger population center. What are they doing? He asked. Are they looking for something? Are they planning an attack? Nobody could answer his questions. The ship was still a mystery. A fast, big mystery that was heading for 50 million innocent people. Sir, Lisa said, I'm detecting some kind of scanning beam from the ship. It's very weak, but it's there. They're scanning our outpost. Jake looked at the big screen one more time. The dot was still there, still moving, still scanning. Whoever was on that ship, they were learning about the Empire. They were gathering information. Keep monitoring, he said. And keep trying to contact them. We need to know what they want. But deep in his heart, Jake was afraid. The Empire was the most powerful force in the galaxy. They had the biggest ships, the best weapons, the most advanced technology. But this unknown ship seemed to be beyond all of that. As he watched the dot move across the screen, Jake wondered if the Empire was about to meet something it could not handle. Something that would change everything they thought they knew about. The galaxy. The alarm bells kept ringing, and the unknown ship kept moving through space, carrying its secrets toward an uncertain future. Fleet Admiral Ryan Brooks stood in the command center of the Imperial Navy's biggest space station. The message from Outpost Zeta 7 had reached him 30 minutes ago. Now he was looking at 12 of his best ships getting ready to leave. Captain Davis, are you ready? Ryan asked into his communication device. Yes, sir, came the voice of Captain Emma Davis. She was on the Inn's Dominion, the biggest and strongest ship in the fleet. All 12 ships are ready to move. We have full crews and all weapons are working. Ryan looked at the big map showing the galaxy. The unknown ship was now in the beta system, still moving fast. His ships would meet it in 4 hours if everything went as planned. Remember, Captain, Ryan said, we want to make peaceful contact first. But if they are hostile, you have permission to defend yourself. Understood, sir, Emma said. We'll try talking first. Ryan ended the communication and turned to his assistant, Commander Pete Wilson. Pete was a young officer with smart eyes and a serious face. What do you think, Pete? Ryan asked. Are we sending enough ships? Pete looked at the reports from Outpost Zeta 7. The numbers still did not make sense to him. No ship could move that fast or be that big and still turn so quickly. Sir, I think we might need more ships, Pete said. The readings from the outpost are very strange. This unknown vessel has capabilities we don't understand, Ryan nodded. He had been thinking the same thing. But 12 heavy cruisers were the most he could gather quickly. The rest of the fleet was spread across the galaxy, protecting other systems. Send a message to all nearby ships, Ryan said. Tell them to move toward the beta system. If Captain Davis needs help, I want reinforcements. Ready? Meanwhile, Captain Emma Davis was on the bridge of the Inn's Dominion. She was looking at her crew. These were good people. They had trained for years to handle first contact situations, but this felt different from their training. Communications Officer Wells, are you ready to try talking to them? Emma asked. Communications Officer Nancy Wells was sitting at her station. She had learned to speak in over 50 different alien languages, but she had a feeling this would be different. Ready, Captain? Nancy said. I have all the standard greeting messages prepared. Emma looked at the main screen. They were still 2 hours away from meeting the unknown ship, but their long-range sensors could already detect it. The ship was huge, much bigger than the reports had said. Captain, said Science Officer Larry Brown, I'm getting detailed scans of the unknown vessel now. The size readings are incredible. It's almost 3 times bigger than our ship. Emma felt her stomach tighten. The Inn's Dominion was already the biggest ship in the Imperial Navy. A ship 3 times bigger would be massive beyond imagination. What? About weapons? She asked. Can you detect any weapons on it? Larry looked at his screen and frowned. That's the strange part, Captain. I can't detect any traditional weapons. No laser cannons, no missile tubes, no plasma arrays. But there are some energy readings I don't recognize. Emma walked to the center of the bridge. Her crew was looking at her, waiting for orders. She had to be strong for them. All ships maintain formation, she said into her communication device. We stick to the plan. We try to talk first. 1 hour later, the unknown ship appeared on their visual screens. Emma and her crew stared at it in silence. The ship was not like anything they had ever seen. It was long and smooth, with no visible weapons or engine ports. It looked more like a work of art than a military vessel. It's beautiful, whispered Nancy Wells. It's also moving straight toward us, said Larry Brown. No change in speed or direction. Emma stood up from her captain's chair. Nancy, send the first greeting message. Use the standard Imperial welcome. Nancy pressed buttons on her control panel. A message went out through space toward the unknown ship. It was a simple message of peace and friendship, translated into the most common galactic languages. They waited 1 minute. 2 minutes. 3 minutes. No response, Captain, Nancy said. Try again, Emma said. Use the emergency friendship protocol. Nancy sent another message. This one was even simpler. It just said that they came in peace and wanted to talk. Still no response. Captain, said Larry Brown, the ship is slowing down. It's stopping right in front of us. Emma looked at the main screen. The unknown ship was now sitting still in space about 1 kilometer away. It was close enough that they could see details on its hull. The metal looked strange, like it was made of materials they had never seen before. All ships hold position, Emma said. Do not move forward. For 10 minutes, both groups of ships sat in space, looking at each other. The silence was making everyone nervous. Then Nancy Wells jumped in her chair. Captain, I'm getting a message. From the unknown ship? Emma asked. Yes, ma'am. It's coming in on our standard communication channel. Emma's heart started beating faster. Put it on the main speakers. Nancy pressed a button. The bridge filled with static noise. Then a voice came through the speakers. It was clear and strong. And it was speaking perfect Imperial Standard language. Imperial vessels, this is Captain Danny Cooper of the UES Horizon. We mean no harm to you or your people. We come in peace, but we will defend ourselves if threatened. Emma and her crew stared at each other in shock. The voice sounded human, but that was impossible. Humans were a primitive species from a small planet called Earth. They could barely travel to their own moon, according to Imperial records. Captain? Cooper, Emma said into her communication device. This is Captain Emma Davis of the Imperial Navy. We also come in peace. We would like to establish formal contact with your people. There was a long pause, then the voice came back. Captain Davis, we appreciate your peaceful intentions. However, we have been monitoring your communications. We know your ships are armed and ready for battle. We prefer to keep our distance for now. Emma felt her face turn red. How could they have been monitoring Imperial communications? That was supposed to be impossible. Captain Cooper, we only carry weapons for defense, she said. We have no intention of attacking you. We just want to talk. Another pause, then the voice returned. Captain Davis, we understand your position. But we have been watching your empire for some time. We know how you handle first contact situations. We know about the Zendari incident. We know about the Torlik Wars. Forgive us if we are cautious. Emma felt cold fear run through her body. The Zendari incident had happened 50 years ago. It was classified information that only high-ranking Imperial officers knew about. How could these people know about it? Who are you? Emma asked. How do you know about classified Imperial operations? We are humans from the planet Earth, the voice said calmly. And we know about your operations because we have been watching you for decades. We have been preparing for this moment for a long time. Emma's second-in-command, Commander Bill Rogers, leaned over to her. Captain, this has to be some kind of trick. Humans don't have this kind of technology. But Emma was looking at the unknown ship on her screen. It was sitting there peacefully, but she could feel the power coming from it. This was not a trick. This was real. Captain Cooper, she said, would you be willing to meet in person? We could arrange a neutral location. The response came quickly this time. We will consider it, Captain Davis, but first we want to make something clear. We are not the primitive species your records claim we are. We have capabilities that may surprise you. We hope this can remain a peaceful encounter. Emma looked around her bridge. Her crew was staring at her, waiting for her next move. She had trained for many situations, but not for this. Not for humans who somehow had technology beyond Imperial science. We understand, Captain Cooper, she said. We are willing to meet, wherever you feel safe. We will send coordinates shortly, the voice said. Come alone, Captain Davis. Bring only 2 officers. We will do the same. The communication ended. Emma stood in the quiet bridge, looking at the impossible ship in front of her. Everything she thought she knew about the galaxy had just changed. Captain, Nancy Wells said quietly, what do we do now? Emma took a deep breath. We prepare to meet the most advanced humans in the galaxy, she said. And we pray they really do come in peace. Chief Engineer Paul Martinez was having the worst day of his life. He stood in the main science lab of Imperial Command, looking at screens full of numbers that made no sense. Around him, 12 of the Empire's smartest scientists were all talking. At once. The power readings are impossible, said Dr. Helen Foster, waving her hands at a computer screen. No reactor can produce that much energy. The laws of physics won't allow it. Paul rubbed his tired eyes. He had been studying the sensor data from Captain Davis's ships for 6 hours. Every number he looked at told him the same thing. The human ship should not exist. Dr. Foster, show me the engine readings again, Paul said. Helen pressed buttons on her control panel. The main screen filled with charts and graphs. The energy output from the human ship was shown as a tall red line. Next to it, for comparison, was a much smaller blue line showing the power of the Empire's best ship. The human ship produces 10 times more power than our biggest reactor, Helen said. But our sensors don't detect any radiation leakage. Whatever they're using for fuel, it's completely clean. Paul walked closer to the screen. He had been an engineer for 20 years. He had built some of the Empire's most advanced ships, but this was beyond anything he had ever imagined. What about their hull material? He asked. Dr. Gary Nelson, the Empire's top materials expert, looked up from his own screen. His face was pale and confused. That's another mystery, Gary said. Our sensors can't identify what their ship is made of. It's not steel, not titanium, not any metal we know. It seems to be some kind of composite material, but it's stronger than anything in our databases. Paul felt a headache coming on. Every piece of information about the human ship was impossible, but the ship was real. Captain Davis had seen it, with her own eyes. How about their speed? Paul asked. Any theories on how they move so fast? Dr. Helen Foster brought up another screen. This one showed the path the human ship had taken through space. They don't use hyperspace lanes like our ships do, she said. They seem to travel through normal space, but at speeds that should require infinite energy. It's like they've broken the basic rules of space travel. Paul sat down in a chair. His legs felt weak. The Empire had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years because they had the best technology. But these humans seemed to have technology that was centuries ahead of anything the Empire had. There has to be an explanation, he said. People don't just suddenly develop this kind of technology. It takes thousands of years of research and development. Dr. Foster looked at him with worried eyes. Paul, what if they didn't develop it? Recently? What if they've had this technology for a long time and we just didn't know about it? Paul did not like that idea. It would mean the Empire's intelligence services had failed completely. It would mean there was a civilization in the galaxy more advanced than the Empire, and they had been hiding from them. Sir, said Dr. Nelson, I've been thinking about something. What if the humans aren't really from Earth? Paul looked at him. What do you mean? What if they're from somewhere else and they just call themselves humans? What if they're an advanced alien species that looks like humans? Dr. Foster shook her head. The voice patterns and language structure match human speech from Earth. Our computers analyzed Captain Cooper's voice. He's definitely human. Paul stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see the lights of Imperial Command's massive space station. Thousands of people worked here, all believing the Empire was the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. Have we heard anything more from Captain Davis? He asked. Yes, sir, said Dr. Foster. She sent a message 20 minutes ago. The humans have agreed to meet at a neutral space station. Captain Cooper is bringing 2 officers, Paul nodded. Maybe they would get some answers at the meeting, but he was also worried. If the humans had this kind of technology, what else could? They do? His communication device beeped. It was Admiral Brooks calling from the Fleet Command Center. Paul, how are the analysis reports coming? Admiral Brooks asked. Sir, I have to be honest with you, Paul said. We can't explain how their technology works. It's beyond our understanding. There was a long pause. Then Admiral Brooks spoke again. Paul, I need you to tell me something. If these humans are hostile, can we fight them? Paul looked around the science lab. All the scientists were listening to his conversation. They all had the same worried expression on their faces. Sir, based on what we've seen, I don't think we can match their technology. Their ship is bigger, faster, and more powerful than anything we have. If they wanted to attack us, I'm not sure we could stop them. Another pause. Paul could hear Admiral Brooks breathing heavily on the other end of the communication. Keep working. On the analysis, Admiral Brooks said, we need to understand what we're dealing with. Paul ended the communication and turned back to his team. They were all waiting for his instructions. Let's focus on their defensive systems, he said. Maybe we can find a weakness there. Dr. Foster pulled up new data on her screen. We tried to scan inside their ship, but our sensors can't penetrate their hull. It's like they have some kind of shield technology we've never seen. What about their weapons? Paul asked. Any sign of what they might use to fight? Dr. Nelson shook his head. That's the strangest part. We can't detect any traditional weapons. No laser cannons, no missile launchers, no plasma guns. But there are some energy patterns we don't recognize. Paul walked to Dr. Nelson's screen. The energy patterns looked like nothing he had ever seen. They were complex and powerful, but he could not guess what they were for. Could these be some kind of new weapon technology? He asked. It's possible, Dr. Nelson said. But they could also be for something else entirely. Maybe they're for communication or navigation or something we haven't thought of. Paul's communication device beeped again. This time it was a message from Captain Davis. She had reached the neutral space station and was preparing to meet the humans. Dr. Foster, I want you to monitor the meeting, Paul said. Record everything. Maybe we can learn something from how they behave. Dr. Foster nodded and began setting up the monitoring equipment. Paul hoped the meeting would give them answers, but he was also afraid of what they might learn. Sir, said Dr. Nelson. I've been running calculations on their power output. If they can build ships like this, what else can they build? What about their weapons? What about their planets? Paul felt his stomach drop. He had been so focused on the one ship that he had not thought about the bigger picture. If the humans had this kind of technology, their entire civilization must be incredibly advanced. How many ships do you think they have? He asked. Dr. Foster looked up from her monitoring equipment. Captain Cooper mentioned that they've been watching the Empire for decades. That suggests they have multiple ships, probably spread throughout the galaxy. Paul sat down again. The Empire had thousands of ships, but if the humans had even 100 ships with this kind of technology, they would be a major threat. What if they're not alone? He asked, what if there are other human worlds out there, all with this technology? The scientists looked at each other nervously. Nobody wanted to think about that possibility. Sir, said Dr. Foster, Captain Davis is starting her meeting with the humans. Should we begin monitoring? Paul nodded. Yes, record everything. We need to learn as much as we can about these people. As the monitoring equipment began working, Paul stared at the screens showing the impossible human ship. In a few hours, everything the Empire knew about the galaxy might change forever. He just hoped they would survive the change. Captain Emma Davis walked slowly through the corridors of Neutral Station 7. The space station was old and simple, built by traders who wanted a safe place to meet between different star systems. Today, it would host the most important meeting in galactic history. Behind her walked Communications Officer Nancy Wells and Science Officer Larry Brown. They had been chosen to accompany Emma to the meeting with the humans. All three of them were nervous. Remember, Emma said quietly, we're here to learn, not to judge. Whatever they tell us, we need to stay calm. Nancy nodded. She had been thinking about the human voice she had heard on the communication channel. Captain Cooper had sounded so confident, so sure of himself. It was not how she expected a primitive human to sound. They reached the meeting room. It was a simple space with a round table and 6 chairs. 3 humans were already sitting there, waiting for them. Captain Danny Cooper was a tall man with short brown hair and kind eyes. He wore a simple blue uniform that looked comfortable and practical. Next to him sat a woman with red hair and a serious expression. On his other side was a man with gray hair and the look of someone who had seen many things. Captain Davis, Danny said, standing up. Thank you for coming. I'm Captain Danny Cooper. This is my first officer, Lieutenant Amy Foster, and our chief scientist, Dr. Greg Taylor. Emma shook hands with each of them. Their hands felt normal, just like any human hands. But she knew these were not normal humans. Please sit down, Danny said. We have much to discuss. Everyone sat around the table. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Danny leaned forward and looked directly at Emma. Captain Davis, I know you have many questions. Your people have been trying to understand our technology. I'm here to give you answers. Emma felt her heart beat faster. Captain Cooper, our records show that humans are still learning to travel between planets. How is it possible that you have technology beyond our understanding? Danny smiled, but it was a sad smile. Your records are very old, Captain. They're from a time before everything changed on Earth. Dr. Taylor, the gray-haired scientist, opened a small device and placed it on the table. A holographic image appeared above it. It showed Earth, but not the Earth from Imperial records. This Earth was green and blue and beautiful. This is our planet today, Dr. Taylor said. But it wasn't always like this. 200 years ago, Earth was dying. The holographic image changed. Now it showed a planet that was brown and gray. The oceans were dirty, the land was empty, and the sky was dark. Climate change and pollution had destroyed most of our world. Dr. Taylor continued. Billions of people died. The few who survived had to make a choice. We could give up and let our species die, or we could find a way to save ourselves. Emma stared at the holographic images. She had seen dying planets before, but she had never seen a planet recover like this. How did you fix it? She asked. Lieutenant Amy Foster spoke for the first time. We did something that had never been done before. We united the entire planet. Every nation, every group of people, everyone worked together. We focused all our energy and intelligence on two things: saving our planet and developing technology that would help us survive. Danny nodded. When you're facing extinction, you can do amazing things. We developed new science, new engineering, new ways of thinking. In 50 years, we advanced more than we had in the previous 1,000 years. Dr. Taylor touched his device. Again, the holographic image changed to show a timeline. Emma could see the rapid development of human technology over 2 centuries. We solved fusion power first, Dr. Taylor said. Clean, unlimited energy. Then we developed nanotechnology that could repair damage to our planet. After that came space. Travel, advanced materials, and eventually faster-than-light travel. Nancy Wells leaned forward. But why didn't you contact the Empire? Why hide from us? Amy Foster's expression became serious. Because we learned about you first. We watched your empire for decades before we were ready to reveal ourselves. We saw how you handle first contact with new species. Emma felt uncomfortable. She knew the Empire's history was not always peaceful. We know about the Zandari, Danny said quietly. We know about the Torlek. We know about the dozen other species that tried to join your empire as equals and were forced to become subjects. Instead, Emma's face turned red. Those were classified operations. How do you know about those? Dr. Taylor smiled. Captain, we've been monitoring your communications for 30 years. We've watched your ships, studied your technology, observed your politics. We know more about your empire than many of your own citizens do. Larry Brown, who had been quiet until now, finally spoke. Are you saying there are more ships like yours, more humans out there? Danny nodded. The Use Horizon is one of over 300 ships in our fleet. We have colonies on 47 worlds. We've been expanding through the galaxy for decades, but we've stayed hidden from your sensors. Emma felt dizzy. 300 ships with technology beyond Imperial understanding. It was almost too much to believe. Why are you revealing yourselves now? She asked. Amy Foster answered. Because your empire is making the same mistakes that almost destroyed Earth. You're polluting worlds, fighting endless wars, treating people as resources instead of as beings with rights. We've decided it's time to step forward and offer an alternative. Dr. Taylor touched his device again. This time, the holographic image showed a small device no bigger than a book. This is a portable fusion reactor, he said. It can power a small city for years. We could share this technology with your empire, help you move away from the polluting power sources you use now. Emma stared at the device. Imperial scientists had been trying to build portable fusion reactors for centuries. They had never succeeded. And this, Dr. Taylor continued, creating another holographic image, is a medical nanobot system. It can repair damaged cells, cure diseases, even regrow lost limbs. We could help your empire eliminate poverty and suffering. Emma looked at her officers. Nancy and Larry both looked amazed and confused. These technologies could change everything. What do you want in return? Emma asked. Danny leaned back in his chair. We want the empire to change. We want you to stop conquering and start cooperating. We want you to treat all species as equals. We want you to focus on building instead of destroying. And, if we refuse? Emma asked. Amy Foster's expression became very serious. Then we'll continue to expand our own civilization. We'll offer membership to species who want to join us. We'll protect those who ask for our protection. We'll build a better galaxy without your empire. Emma felt a chill run down her spine. These humans were not making threats, but they were making their position very clear. They were offering partnership, but they were also prepared to replace the empire if necessary. How do we know you're telling the truth? She asked. Dr. Taylor smiled and pulled out another device. This one was even smaller than the first. He placed it on the table and activated it. Suddenly, Emma felt better than she had in years. Her chronic back pain disappeared. Her tired eyes felt refreshed. Even her old knee injury stopped hurting. Medical nanobots, Dr. Taylor said. They're already working in your system, repairing damage and improving your health. This is just a small example of what we can do. Emma looked at Nancy and Larry. They both looked amazed and healthier than they had in years. This is incredible, Nancy whispered. Danny stood up. Captain Davis, we're not your enemies. We're your cousins. We're the same species, just from different worlds. We want to work together to build a better future for everyone. Emma stood up too. She felt stronger and more clear-headed than she had in years, thanks to the nanobots. I need to report this to my superiors, she said. This is beyond my authority to decide. We understand, Amy Foster said. But remember, Captain, change is coming whether your empire chooses it or not. The question is whether you want to be part of that change or be replaced by it. Emma shook hands with the three humans again. As she left the meeting room, she knew the galaxy would never be the same. The Empire would have to decide, evolve, or become extinct, just like the humans had done 2 centuries ago on a dying Earth. Emperor Marcus Kane sat on his golden throne in the grand hall of the Imperial Palace. Around him stood the most powerful people in the galaxy. Admirals, generals, governors, and scientists filled the massive room. Everyone was talking at once, and everyone sounded afraid. Silence, Marcus shouted. His voice echoed through the hall, and everyone stopped talking. I want to hear Admiral Brooks's report again, all of it. Admiral Ryan Brooks stepped forward. He looked tired and worried. For 3 days, reports had been coming in from across the Empire. Human ships were appearing everywhere. Ships that had been invisible to Imperial sensors were now showing themselves. Your Majesty, Ryan said, we have confirmed sightings of human vessels in 47 star systems. They appear to have been operating in our territory for years without our knowledge. General Chris Ward, a big man with an angry face, stepped forward. Your Majesty, we should attack them now, before they get stronger. We still have more ships than they do. Admiral Tony Moore shook his head. General Ward, our tactical analysis shows that would be a mistake. Their technology is far superior to ours. Our weapons might not even be able to damage their ships. Marcus felt a headache coming on. He had ruled the Empire for 20 years. In all that time, no one had challenged Imperial power. Now these humans were changing everything. What about their demands? Marcus asked. Admiral Brooks pulled out a datapad and read from it. They want us to recognize them as an equal power. They want representation in the Galactic Council. They want us to stop forced expansion and start voluntary cooperation with other species. General Ward made an angry noise. Equal power? They're humans. They're barely out of the Stone Age. General, said Dr. Janet Collins, the Empire's new science advisor, our analysis shows that human technology is at least 2 centuries ahead of ours. They're not primitive anymore. Marcus looked at Dr. Collins. She was a smart woman who had replaced the old science advisor after his nervous breakdown. The reports about human technology had been too much for him to handle. Dr. Collins, tell me honestly, Marcus said. Can we fight them and win? Dr. Collins took a deep breath. Your Majesty, I don't think so. Their ships are faster, stronger, and more advanced than anything we have. But more importantly, they don't seem to want to fight us. They want to work with us. Work with us to do what? Marcus asked. To build a better galaxy, Dr. Collins said. They've offered to share technologies that could solve many of our problems. Clean energy, advanced medicine, environmental restoration. They could help us fix the damage we've done to conquered worlds. General Ward laughed harshly. And in return, they want us to give up our power. They want us to treat alien species as equals. They want to destroy everything the Empire has built. Admiral Moore stepped forward. General, maybe what the Empire has built isn't worth saving. We've conquered thousands of worlds, enslaved billions of people, and polluted entire star systems. Maybe it's time for a change. General Ward's face turned red with anger. Admiral Moore, that sounds like treason. It sounds like truth, Admiral Moore replied calmly. Marcus stood up from his throne. The room became quiet again. Everyone was looking at him, waiting for his decision. "I want to speak with Admiral Blake," Marcus said. "The human who's been sending us these messages. Arrange a meeting." 2 days later, Marcus found himself in a simple conference room on a neutral space station. Across the table sat Admiral Susan Blake, the leader of the human fleet. She was a woman with gray hair and intelligent eyes. Next to her were two other humans, Captain Cooper and Dr. Taylor. "Your Majesty," Susan said politely, "thank you for agreeing to meet with us." Marcus studied her face. She looked calm and confident, not at all worried about meeting the ruler of the galaxy's most powerful empire. "Admiral Blake, you're asking me to change everything about how the empire operates? Why should I agree to that?" Susan smiled. "Because the alternative is watching your empire slowly collapse. Your current system isn't sustainable, Your Majesty. You're using up resources faster than you can find them. You're fighting too many wars to maintain. Your people are becoming unhappy with constant conflict." Marcus frowned. "Our people are loyal to the empire." "Some are," Susan agreed. "But our intelligence shows that rebellion is growing on dozens of worlds. Species are starting to resist imperial rule. Without our intervention, you'll face civil wars within a decade." Dr. Taylor leaned forward. "Your Majesty, we're not here to destroy the empire. We're here to help it evolve. We can share technologies that will make your people healthier, your worlds cleaner, your civilization more peaceful." "And what happens to imperial authority?" Marcus asked. Captain Cooper answered. "Authority based on fear and force will be replaced by authority based on cooperation and mutual benefit. You can still be a leader, Your Majesty, but you'll be leading people who choose to follow you, not people who are forced to obey you." Marcus was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "Show me proof that your way works better than ours." Admiral Blake activated a holographic device. The image showed a beautiful planet covered with green forests and blue oceans. "This is New Terra," she said. "One of our colony worlds. It was a dead planet when we found it. Using our environmental restoration technology, we turned it into a paradise in just 10 years. The image changed to show cities that looked like gardens. Buildings grew up from the ground like trees, covered with plants and flowing water. 50 million people live there now," Admiral Blake continued. "Humans. And 17 other species, all working together. There's no poverty, no pollution, no war. Everyone has what they need to live a good life." Marcus stared at the images. In his empire, most planets were ugly and polluted from heavy industry and military construction. "How many worlds like this do you have?" he asked. 47 so far. Admiral Blake said, "And we're building more every year. Species that join us voluntarily help us create these worlds. They're not conquered or enslaved. They're partners." Marcus felt something he had never felt before as emperor. He felt doubt about the way he had been ruling. "What exactly are you proposing?" he asked. Admiral Blake leaned forward. "We propose the Terra Accords, a new agreement that will reshape how the galaxy is governed. The empire will remain, but it will become a voluntary association of worlds instead of a forced one. Species will have the right to leave if they want to. New members will join because they want the benefits of cooperation, not because they're afraid of imperial conquest." Dr. Taylor added, "We'll share our technology gradually, as the empire demonstrates its commitment to peaceful cooperation. Clean energy first, then medicine, then environmental restoration. Eventually, we can work together to explore beyond this galaxy." Marcus looked at Captain Cooper. "And if I refuse?" Cooper's expression became serious. "Then we'll continue building our own civilization. We'll offer membership to any species that wants to join us. In 50 years, we'll probably have more members than the Empire does. We'll become the dominant power in the galaxy, not through conquest, but through attraction." Marcus understood. The humans weren't threatening him with war. They were threatening him with irrelevance. "I need time to consider this," Marcus said. "Of course," Admiral Blake replied. "But while you're considering, remember that change is already happening. Every day, more species learn about us and ask to join our civilization. Every day, the old way of doing things becomes more outdated. 1 month later, Marcus stood before the Galactic Council. Representatives from thousands of worlds filled the enormous chamber. For the first time in Imperial history, the Emperor was asking for approval instead of giving orders. "Citizens of the galaxy," Marcus began, "today we begin a new chapter in our history. I am signing the Terra Accords, which will transform our empire from a military force into a cooperative alliance." Some representatives cheered. Others looked worried. But Marcus could see hope in many faces. Hope for a better future. As he signed the agreement, Marcus knew that his great-grandfather would have been angry. The old emperors had believed in power through force. But Marcus was beginning to believe in something different. He was beginning to believe in power through cooperation. Admiral Blake stood beside him as he signed. "Your Majesty," she said quietly, "you're making the right choice. Your people will be happier, your worlds will be healthier, and your legacy will be one of peace instead of war." Marcus nodded. For the first time in his life, he felt truly proud to be a leader. The galaxy would never be the same. But maybe Marcus thought that was exactly what it needed.